Bonjour, I have a tip for you. Your life is meaningless and boring. It is filled with mundane tasks and uninteresting motives. What you should do is learn how to draw. And for that, you go to portraitartacademy.com. That's what I was going to say. Yes, but you took so long to do it. It does not matter. You do not interrupt a true art master. Ha! As if. Can you guys quit it already?
Between 1807 and 1814, right before World War I, a new movement was created. Mankind was looking for something new.
And womankind.
Oh yes, and womankind too. Anyway, with the overlap of the Expressionist time period, where rules, laws, and accuracy were being rejected, came another rebellion against realistic art, rejecting perspective. They called it Cubism.
Cubism meant that normal perspective, realistic perspective, was thrown overboard, and instead, space was being recognized with multiple points of view. These distorted pieces would be reshaped into something that could have another shape. The beholder of the art was expected to put the pieces together himself. Or herself. Yes, a good catch.
Although various artists embraced the idea of the set distortion of shapes, there was one among them that left a lasting impression on society. His name was Pablo Picasso.
I've heard of him. Maybe because his first and last name start with a P, nothing more. Yes, many people have heard of him. Even Shorty, and that says a lot. But I don't know anything he painted, so show me some of his works. Yes, of course. Let's take a look at some of his works.
Picasso's work was mostly putting shapes together that would not make any sense. He distinguished between analytic cubism, often characterized by brown colors and shapes being analyzed, and on the other hand, synthetic cubism, which consisted of cut-out pieces of paper put together as a collage.
Okay, never mind. Forget I asked. I don't like it. Yuck. Neither do I. Well, you don't have to like it. Not everyone does. He also had some neoclassicistic paintings. Oh, and of course there's a naked woman in there. And some of his other paintings included naked women as well. Okay, I guess we've established that it didn't always mean that they were perverts, did it? Not necessarily, no. Many artists didn't go overboard with it, or didn't try to sexualize their subjects. That doesn't mean I endorse any of that, or nude modeling in general. But actually, you might be right in the case of Pablo Picasso, about him being an actual pervert. I am? What do you mean? I mean that he was promiscuous and abusive. He wasn't a nice man.
Pablo Picasso grew up in Spain, where he had to deal with the early passing of family members, friends who committed suicide, the Great Depression, the Spanish Civil War, and 2 world wars. Aside from the traumatizing events in his own life, he was a witness of death and destruction through the media and the news.
Those were tough times, but I don't know if we can connect that time period as a whole to his own personal morals. That's hard to say. Sometimes people are just so traumatized that they don't function well. I mean, look at the war veterans that constantly have PTSD. You can't always blame them for what they do. And at the same time, they need to stand up and take responsibility for what they do. I mean, they need to be a man, right? Or a woman. You're saying that those men should be women? No, just that acting like a real woman should mean the same thing as acting like a real man. Why does acting like a man always mean that they were honorable or tough? Because that's the only way we can encourage them to do what they should do. What do you mean by that? Just that some men are dummies. But sometimes all you have to do is say, be a man, and they start behaving better for some reason. Well, if it works, then I won't complain anymore.
Many women in Picasso's relationships were there for erotic aspects and his creative expression. He slept around, was unfaithful to many. Some considered these relations to be an aspect of his process. Many women posed for him and were integrated in his works. A recurring pattern in his works is the female form. Among most citizens in his direct environment, he was considered a womanizer and misogynist.
Oh, what a piece of trash, that guy. I just knew it. Yeah, get this. He even said one time, women are machines for suffering. For me, there are only two kinds of women. Goddesses and doormats. Wow, that's low. That's so low. How can you say that about other human beings? That's so shallow. You think that's bad? Here, listen to some of his other quotes. Here's another one. Every time I changed wives, he said, I should burn the last one. That way, I'd be rid of you kill the woman and you wipe out the past that she represents. Of course, he still made money from their portraits.
Picasso often referred to himself as a creative genius. With a narcissistic attitude, he left many relationships or cheated on his muses. Marina Picasso writes in her memoir, he submitted them to his animal sexuality, tamed them, bewitched them, ingested them, and crushed them onto his canvas. After he had spent many nights extracting their essence, once they were bled dry, he would dispose of them.
Whoa, what a lowlife. I wish I could slap him in the face. Too bad, he's dead. Where's my rifle? I'm gonna shoot that son of a gun until he can't make the sun shine no more where it don't shine in the first place. Shorty, did you hear what I said? He's already dead. Where's his grave? I'll shoot the man anyway. Yeah, that would be weird. I don't think that does anything. Hey Shorty, how about you calm down?
One of his muses once said to him, as an artist, you may be extraordinary, but morally speaking, you are worthless. One time, two of his women were arguing over who should go and who should stay. He recalled that he made them wrestle over it. He admits seeing the two women getting caught up in a physical fight over him was one of his fondest memories. Another could not stand his abuse and philandering and left him in 1953, and another committed suicide about 13 years after his death.
Man, that guy was evil. May God and the devil decide what to do with him. Well, we can't judge or condemn him, but we don't have to like him either, do we? Oh well, that's for sure. I hate him already. But he's dead. It's over now, but it doesn't really make me so intrigued about his work anymore. But if you didn't know that about him, would you still like his work? Meh, I didn't like it in the first place. Me neither. I don't know what the hype is all about. Most of them just look like a bunch of misplaced puzzle pieces or a collage made by my nearsighted mother-in-law. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
Picasso's legacy, despite his personal life, was noticed by many reputable men and women around the world. Yet his two sons both had alcohol problems, and one of them committed suicide.
Yeah, I wonder why. He must have been such a great father. That's kind of like finding out that Bill Cosby abused women. You may love his work, you may love him as being a good father, but then he turns out to be a sex monster. Well, let's not talk about him either, shall we? I mean, he's got some things on his conscience that I wouldn't want as a burden on my mind, that's for sure.
As the 20th century elapsed, various artists were on the rise. Some great, others not. Some famous, others infamous. The 20th century had a lot to offer, both artistically and historically.